and welcome back to another vlog. I hope you are all well. Hope you're doing great. Of course, the minute I start to film, it goes cloudy and oh my gosh, I'm facing the wrong way to the window, but we're just gonna have to cope with it. I'm having such a battle with my hair today. Oh my god, I'm like trying to grow out this fringe and like I can't get my roots redone because I think I've had like a reaction to them on the back of my neck on the bleach, so it's not great. I'm feeling a bit like stuck with it right now. I've kind of just got to let my hair grow out, but then the more it grows out, the worse the roots are going to look. But I can't get the roots redone because I think it's giving me an allergic reaction. It's all fine, it's all good. Oh, whatever. But anyway, it's literally just like pinned up for now. It's so hot. Yesterday was, to be fair, I think it was only 25 degrees yesterday, but it was reportedly the hottest day of the year, and I genuinely didn't feel that hot. I feel like I felt hotter on other days, so it wasn't too bad, but very much warm, which I guess we shouldn't complain about. But yes, thought we'd do a little getting ready, a little catch up, a little chit chat, and then I'm gonna go back in time and just put in some clips from what we did at the weekend and when we went to the beach and stuff. So I'm hoping that I actually got some nice clips because we did this. Everyone bar me played these like beach Olympics, including limbo under a dog lead. And obviously I was not going to join in with that one. So I just spectated and was just filming some little bits, but I think in the background all you can hear is me going, oh. So yeah, if we can find anywhere I'm not kind of chuckling to myself, or if not, I'll stick some music over it. But yeah, just thought we'd give a little update. I need to do the TikTok sound. Well, it's from a song. I actually don't know what song it's from. And it's like, whatever it is, I'm not going to sing. Like, I swear 16 was yesterday, but now I'm closer to 28. But obviously people do it for the baby bump. Well, we're 28 and 3 days, something like that. So I'm going to do that today. But it's so funny because I found the 16 clip the other day. And I remember this day we were going shopping and I had some leggings on. None of my t-shirts fit. They definitely did. They were just probably a little bit tighter. So I wore this big baggy t-shirt of Jamie's and a blazer. And I was like, yeah, it's so obvious that I'm pregnant. Like it's, oh my God, I've got like such a little belly. Like it's so obvious. Hi, darling. Absolutely isn't. Like I literally look completely normal. And I'm like touching my belly as if there's something there. It's just so funny. But yeah, if you want to see that, pop on over to my TikTok and have a look at that. It should be up by now, but it just makes me laugh so much because you think, especially for like me in like the first trimester, I was like so bloated from being sick and I was like, oh my God, like my belly looks huge. Oh, it's like I look ridiculous. Like people are gonna think, oh my gosh, because I've got a belly at like 10-12 weeks, there's nothing there. Like there's nothing there, girl, it's fine. It just makes me laugh so much. Also, this isn't super orange, it is just the lighting makes it look really orange, but I promise it's not. But yeah, it just makes me laugh at myself so much because I was so self-conscious and I'd be like, oh, got a belly. I'm like, yeah, okay. It was a bit more protruding than my usual body shape, but it definitely wasn't a bump. But now we are most definitely a bump. So yeah, go and have a look at that because it makes me laugh, to be quite honest. But on the baby front, I did, how annoying that I'm not in the middle here, but there's just nothing, there's nothing I can do. I can't really shift the chair over, and then if I go over that side, we can see that it's just, we just won't worry about it. Probably nobody has even noticed until I've said, but hey ho, hey ho. Vis-a-vis baby updates, we had our 4D scan last Wednesday, so 27 plus, I don't know, 3 or 4, it's so annoying because like the private scan people dated a day before the NHS do, but then I've used Flow, the app, and they date 2 days after the NHS. And obviously the Flow app, to be fair, I think could be more accurate because they're obviously the ones who have like all your history of your periods and all your dating and stuff that you've inputted. And I mean, not to be TMI, but there is only so early the baby could have been conceived, you know? So it's like, I might cut that out, I might not, but it's like, oh, it's just annoying because I guess if you'd say to like the doctor or whatever, or the midwife, like, oh, well, you know, I don't think I'm that far along yet. I mean, it's literally a couple of days we're talking. I feel like they'd say, oh, well, you're measuring at that many weeks, or you're measuring at whatever size. And so I feel like that's how it's kind of justified. But like, we have not told anybody the due date for the baby because it's honestly changed 4 times, 5 times. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point? And also I saw some statistic the other day and it was like 2 in 100, so 2% of people, babies, actually are born on their due date. So like, what is the point in telling anybody? And it should just be a window, a week, like a due week or something. But yeah, we literally have not told anybody. And also it's just to stop, like, you know, I don't feel like I need any pressure of people being like, any movement, anything today, anything today, anything today. And you're just like, oh my God, like, relax. It will happen when it happens. So yeah, we literally haven't told anybody the due date at all, which I don't know. When people are like, oh, what's the due date? And I just go, the first week of November. And then people kind of, some people are like, well, and I'm like, that's all the information you get. It's all the information you need. So we went for the 4D scan. That's what I was talking about. So yeah, we paid for a private 4D scan at where we've been for the other private ones before. And so it was all fine. Just like a quick like health check on the baby. So they did a quick check on her and the sonographer immediately was like, she's the wrong way around. I was like, okay. And I was so worried that they were going to be like, sorry, she's the wrong way around. We can't do it today. Like, off you go. And I was like, no, because I've been looking forward to it so much. So I was like, really don't want that to be the case. And then she said, right, we're going to send you on a walk for half an hour. Like, move around, wiggle around, and then come back. Hopefully she'll have flipped and we'll try again. And so I was like really grateful for that because I was like, oh, please don't just like send us away because number one, we've paid for this. And also like give me the chance to try and flip her around, you know? So also my heartburn in the last day or so has ramped up so much. It's unbelievable. So you see like we go, it's just a bit of the old acid just coming up to say hello. So anyway, where the scan place is, it's literally in the middle of like a business park. It's like in the middle of like nowhere. But there is a little like pub thing just over the road. So I said to Jamie, I was like, right, walking over there. And usually if I'd have said, we're walking over, like if he'd have said to me, oh, we're going to walk over there, I'd be like, no, we're not, we're going to drive over there. But I was on a mission. So I was like, right, we're going to walk over there. So I'm like power walking. There was like no curbs though, so I couldn't kind of like rock her about. And then I was like lunging down the road, just trying to do, I looked absolutely ridiculous if anybody was driving past. Looking at me, they were probably like, what the hell is that woman doing? So yeah, went for a wee, got a giant pint of ice cold Diet Coke because the lady said, go to the toilet and get a cold drink, keep moving, keep walking, and that should help. So anyway, downed this like Diet Coke. Then we walked all the way back and then I stood for probably like 5 minutes and just did all these ridiculous, I looked like some kind of 80s dance routine, like all these kind of hip movements and just swaying and rocking. And Jamie was like, well, what if she had already flipped and you flipping her back? I was like, that is not helpful. Do not tell me that. Yeah, I'm doing all these hip movements. Anyway, we go in and thank God she was the right way around. I was literally like, oh, well done, little girl. But yeah, it was so nice. So they do like the 4D and then obviously they've kind of got to get, I didn't know how, what's the word, like almost temperamental it is, because you've got to get the baby in such the right position. And then she was facing the right way, as if like facing forward, if you imagine. But then when they put the sonographer machine, the ultrasound machine on, they were like, oh, she's a bit close. So she was like right up to my skin. So I was like trying to like pull back so you could see her properly, almost to like zoom out. But yeah, it was quite funny really. But we got some very cute little pictures. Now, the number of people who I've sent them to, and they've gone, a bit creepy, like a bit weird, innit? And I'm like, why is it weird? But so many people find it super creepy, and I'm like, it's really not. But I think once you've had a scan, like one scan, and like you've felt your baby move, you're not like creeped out, because you're like, yeah, like it's a thing, like you very much get used to it. But I feel like if you've like not been pregnant, probably a bit like, ugh, like that's the whole human inside of your belly. So I get that it might be creepy to some people, but like I said it to my girlfriends and they were literally like, oh God, that's a bit cute but creepy. But yeah, she is very cute. I think she looks like me. Ding. I actually do think she looks like me, which is good. So yeah, we did that and that was lovely, and we got like the little video after it, and then we went back to the pub for some tea, because it was only supposed to be like a 20-minute appointment, but by this point, my God, we'd been there like an hour and a half. So I was like, your gal needs to eat. No, it was really nice. It was a nice kind of little experience. I think it's so funny when you then look at the other ultrasounds, which are just like black and white, and you're like, oh my God, like I remember looking at them and thinking, there she is, like there's so much detail, like you can see so much. And then you actually look at the 4D one and you're like, oh no, now I can like really see a lot. But I sent it to one of my sister-in-law, and she was like, is that a thing? Like I had no idea that was even a thing. Like that's absolutely crazy. It was really nice anyway. And again, I think definitely if you're looking for like a little treat during your pregnancy, a little like nice thing to do together, I think it's really nice. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. But I don't think you can go any later than 32 weeks. Or possibly 35, because they're too big. And I think obviously, like I've waffled on about before, you only get your 2 scans with the NHS. And so like we hadn't seen her at all since 20 weeks, so nearly like 2 months we hadn't seen her. So I was like, you know, I just want to keep an eye, just want to make sure we're all good in there. She's absolutely perfecto, which is amazing. But yeah, and then tomorrow I have my 28-week appointment. So last time we were at the midwife, I said to her, like, when do we kind of talk about like the giving birth bit? And she was like, oh, well, you can do your preferences basically on the app, because you don't have physical notes. I mean, I'm not sure how many years ago you did have physical notes, but you don't have physical notes now. You have an app, which you basically like, all your information is on for your maternity needs. And she was like, oh, fill on the app like what you'd prefer or what you wouldn't prefer, and like we can talk about it. So I was like, all right, okay, fine. So I did that the other week, but some of the questions I was kind of like, they were very open-ended. I'm not gonna be able to think of an example now, but it was like, what would you prefer in the room, or what would you, I don't know, just things which were very open-ended. And I was like, well, what are my options? And I think that is the major thing with giving birth. I think you know in your head obviously what you don't want, probably. Like I want as much pain relief as possible. Yeah, a lot of the questions were like really open-ended, and some had options which you could tick of like, yes, I understand this, yes, I want this, or some of it was just like a blank page where you just had to fill it in. And I was like, well, I don't really know what my options are. And then there was one which said, do you want to give birth at home, on a ward, in like a maternity unit, and then in a birthing centre or a birthing suite or something? And I was like, what is the difference between like a birthing centre, suite and a maternity unit? Like I genuinely could not tell you the difference. So I think I put birthing centre purely because the hospital that I am giving birth at, I know that they have this like new birthing centre. I think it's new, or it's like, I don't know, it's renowned of being good or something. And I think I'm right, but I remember reading, basically the hospital, the partner can't stay overnight, which is fine, understandable, no problem. But if you're in this birthing suite, birthing centre, you have your own room. And if you have your own room, they can stay overnight. Personally, I'm going to send Jamie probably back home to sort the dog out, which is fine. I mean, I'm only hoping to stay there one day, Christ. But anyway, and so I was like, oh, well, like, I think I would want to give birth there, but like, I don't really know. I don't know what the options are. So I just clicked that. But I know tomorrow she's probably going to go through it with me, but I'm a bit like, I need you to give me a little bit more like information. And when I'm on aspirin during my pregnancy because my mum had preeclampsia. So now, modern medicine, they give you aspirin to lower your blood pressure to prevent preeclampsia. Great, no problem. Makes me feel really crap with my heartburn, but it's what it is. No big deal, absolutely fine. However, I was like, right, even if I have this tiny little cut on my arm, I'm not even gonna be able to, oh, there we go. Yep, there's a new cut from just the dog jumping up. I bleed like ridiculously, like I cut my leg or, you know, your cuticle or something, and it like bleeds and bleeds and bleeds. It does not stop because obviously your blood is thinner and so you bleed more, and the aspirin prevents the blood clotting, right? Okay, little medical lesson for everyone there. So what am I on about? Yeah, so I'm on aspirin, so it makes me bleed more. So I said to the midwife last time I went, when do I stop the aspirin? Because presumably when you give birth, obviously you bleed anyway. But if I'm on something that makes me bleed more, am I going to have like horrendous heavy bleeding? And then is it going to be like, oh, this big drama? Like, you know, when do I stop it? And she was like, oh, you don't stop it. You keep taking it until birth. And she was like, oh, you do stop in labour though. I was like, obviously, like I got that bit. But I don't know. It just didn't really like sit right with me. And I just thought, I don't think that is correct. So I googled it, and yeah, it isn't correct. You stop the aspirin at 36 weeks. So that made me a little bit nervous. I was like, girl, you're giving me incorrect information here. And she even looked at this little notepad and was like, yeah, you stop it at birth. I was like, I don't think you do. So yeah, I looked it up quite a bit and read some different like publishings from different hospitals and different professors, and they were like, yeah, no, you stop it at 36 weeks because, as I assumed, you would just bleed and bleed and bleed. Especially if you had to have a C-section scheduled or emergency, you're just going to bleed so much. You're not going to be able to clot, and you need to be able to clot to heal, don't you? And it takes like 3 weeks or 15 days, I think, for the aspirin to be fully out of your system, because you've been taking it for so long. You build up such a tolerance to it. So it takes whatever it is, 15 days for it to fully get out of your system. So it's not like you stop taking it and then the next day, like, your body has no effect to it. So yeah, so I'm going to have to like really awkwardly bring that up with her tomorrow and be like, oh, can I just double check this? But I think my point is, if you feel like you're like, no, that's not right, like that advice or that preference or that answer to that question, if you're like, that's not right, and you just can't kind of wrap your head around it, definitely ask again, or ask somebody else, or read up on it. Just like raise it and just think, that's not right. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking it right up until I gave birth, because I'd just bleed out. So I'm glad that I looked it up, because I was like, no, I knew I was right. Like, I knew I had this like instinct where I was like, I've got to check that. But I'm gonna now have to like bring it up to her really awkwardly and be like, just wanted to double check again. She's really nice, but it is one of those situations where you go in, you feel like you've got about 3 minutes, and then you're like, bye, and you kind of like, oh, I kind of wanted to like chat to you and like get some more information, because it's so hard, and I've literally gone on about this so much, but you know, you look things up online, try and get some information or get answers, and if you're not careful, you're immediately down some rabbit hole of someone's horror story or some false information, and you're just like, oh, that is not what I was after. So I think when you get like the time with the midwife to be like, right, what's this, these are my questions, and they're like, look on the app, look on the website, and you're like, oh, I don't want to look on the website. I want to speak to you now in front of me and get some information. So it's super tricky just to try and find the balance, because we can all look on YouTube, we can all scroll on TikTok and find everybody else's opinion. But you kind of want to say to somebody, right, you've seen me for the last 7 months and my body for the last 7 months. You know my medical history, you know how things are reacting. Can you advise me on how I'm going to react to these different birth routes? You know, it's just, I feel like I could rant about it forever. But it's just super tricky because you just think, oh my God, will you just take 5 minutes and tell me what my options are without saying the words? You look on the NHS website. Yes, I have looked on the NHS website, funnily enough. But anyway, I have literally been talking for 26 minutes. Nearly non-stop. My sister-in-law is coming over and they are, why start talking when you're doing your lips? They are building their own home. So she needs to go tile shopping. So we are off to various tile shops. We're gonna have a little look around. I need to get some curtains for the nursery and also need to sort some blinds. I can't remember if I went on about this, but we wanted the blinds which like click onto the window and then like rise up and down, but they were extortionate for, it's probably a window a little bit bigger than, yeah, probably a little bit bigger than that one. And so for one pane, it was it like 130 or 150 pound? I was like, for blinds that literally stick on, I was like, absolutely not. So I want some clicky on shutters instead, I think, but I need to measure the window and I never measure things correctly, so I keep putting it off because it's making me like stressed and uncomfortable. This lipstick, it's, oh my God, it's Charlotte Tilbury, In Love with Olivia. Harry Styles, did you make this? Anyway, and it's really nice, but I feel like on camera, it looks like a granny lipstick. I don't know what it is. It's just too much. I don't know. It was my wedding day lipstick as well, and it looked great, but I like every time I've worn it since, it doesn't look so great, to be honest with you. It really, really doesn't. But yeah, so we're gonna do that today. I probably won't vlog it because we'll probably be chatting and having a good old catch up, but I will put in after this everything that we've been doing at the weekend. Unsure how much there's gonna be, but we shall see. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that little chin wag. This is the best look I've ever had in my entire life. I am the preggo lady on the chair adjudicating the limbo with my knockoff Fanta. Definitely not me coming on about 5 seconds after I've filmed the first half of this video, pretending that it's later on in the day. But yeah, I just wanted to sign off the video and say that I hope you have enjoyed it. Literally have never waffled so much in my life, but that's what it's for. It's like we're just on a FaceTime, you know, just catching up on what's been going on. Of course, the Peloton is still there getting covered in dust. But yeah, hope you have enjoyed this one. Please give it a like and give me a little subscribe. And I'm just looking at all the hair. Let me know your thoughts if you've got any. About anything that I've shared. But yeah, and I will see you on Sunday for the next one. Bye.